I'm Ellie Rose with PsychicFuture.com and this is your horoscope from the 1st to the 7th of October. So first of all, happy birthday if you've got one this week. I hope you have a lovely day. And secondly, we are now focusing even more on relationships, which is something that you probably know quite a lot about, being ruled by Venus. So if you watched my last couple of videos, we've had a lot of focus on this idea of seeing yourself reflected in your relationships. So trying to learn something about the way that you see other people and the way that you relate to other people. And this week it's kind of getting a little bit more practical and we're going to be able to actually put some of these ideas into motion. So this week we've got Venus is going retrograde. So you are going to feel this a little bit stronger than some of the other signs because obviously Venus is your ruling planet. And before you go, oh no, I can't handle another retrograde, please no, don't worry too much. It's not going to be like Mercury retrograde, which is a very chaotic kind of energy. It's going to be a lot softer and gentler, and it's going to really help us to improve some of our relationships. So basically what Venus retrograde does is it illuminates any of the relationships in our lives that need a little bit of extra work, need a little bit of TLC, or perhaps the opposite is true and we need to stop putting so much energy into certain relationships because they're not serving us. So if, like everybody else, you have been really busy recently, you've been trying to juggle work and your goals and moving forwards and, you know, trying to get over all these hurdles that we've been thrown recently, then what you might find is that your relationships are the first thing that suffer. And if this is the case, you've probably had things like you've realised recently, you know, you haven't talked to your best friend for weeks, or, you know, maybe you and your partner haven't actually spent any quality time together recently where you're not in a rush and you're not trying to like talk about work or trying to like, you know, do household chores, like these kind of things. Maybe you haven't actually spent quality time with the people in your life. And so Venus retrograde is going to show you that stuff so that you can then start to improve it. And something else that's happening this week is going to help with this energy, and that is Pluto is moving direct. So while Pluto has been in retrograde, we might have been feeling a little bit like we want to start a new chapter in our lives, or we want to maybe try something new, or we want to move in a new direction in some way. But we've been kind of held back and blocked by it, and it's been slowed down a little bit and we're not quite sure why. So now that Pluto is direct, this is going to help us to be able to move forwards in this direction that we want to take with a little bit less energy and a little bit more progress. So then what will happen is all of that effort and all of that energy that you've been putting into trying to get things sorted in your life will be able to be transferred a little bit to your relationship. So you're going to free up some energy to dedicate to the people that you love. So for you, Libra, obviously if it is your birthday, then perhaps you might be spending some time with the people in your life. You know, perhaps you want to get together with people, have like a birthday dinner or something. You know, maybe you just need to schedule some time to spend with one person and have a real good heart-to-heart and a catch-up. And actually what will happen is when you do start to put a little bit more energy in your relationships, instead of feeling like you've got more on your plate, actually you'll feel a little bit like bit happier and a bit lighter and a bit more filled up, because when you do socialise with somebody that you love and somebody that makes you feel good, then that actually makes you feel more relaxed, and then you've got even more energy to put back to the other stuff that you were meant to be doing, like your work and your projects. So it is again this balancing act, and you might find that this week perhaps, you know, some things are brought up that maybe are a little bit uncomfortable. You know, perhaps you don't see eye to eye with somebody, or maybe you have a little bit of a row with your partner. But actually these things are for the best, really, because what they're doing is they're trying to show you the places that need a little bit of work. So, you know, if you do have a little bit of a row with your partner, you know, is that because you're not connecting as much as you need to? Do you need to actually just have a bit of fun with each other and have a date? Or if you, you know, you're growing apart from some of your friends that you don't want to grow apart from, and, you know, maybe you feel a little bit like sad about that, then perhaps that is coming up to show you that you need to schedule some time to speak to that person or to see that person. So all of these little things are going to come up because of this Venus retrograde energy at the moment to show you what you need to be doing. So kind of use it as a map, essentially. Whatever comes up for you this week in terms of relationships, note it down and think about why that's happened and then what you can do about it to make the situation better. So I'm going to pick you a tarot card, and instead of doing a general card this week, let's do a relationship one because that's the theme. So let's have a card for Libra. What's this one? Okay, Two of Pentacles, change. So this is about trying to balance your day-to-day life. It's about like balancing work and play, making sure that your home life is feeling harmonious so that you can then enjoy life rather than feeling like you're constantly juggling. And it's got a lot to do with trying to make sure that things are in balance. So like we were saying before, if you've been dedicating too much time to work and not enough time to your relationships, now is the time to set the scales back into balance. You know all about the scales, it's your sign. So this is basically saying to you now, like, take this week to try and see what needs a little bit of adjusting and to maybe make some little changes. They don't have to be huge changes, just small little adjustments in your life. You know, perhaps calling a friend, perhaps you know, taking a little bit less time to do like manual tasks like work and like, you know, your home chores and stuff like that, and to free up that time a little bit to dedicate to your social life maybe. Just try and like make some little changes, little adjustments in your life so that you can feel a little bit more harmonious, and then you can start to feel more relaxed as well, so because you're getting that kind of social side of your life filled up as well. So have a lovely week, Libra, and if you liked this, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you next week. Much love.